Am I the asshole for saying no when my husband's sister asked me to cook after she ran out of money? About 6 weeks ago, my husband's sister and her 3 kids came to stay with my husband and me. His sister was involved in an accident and upon the release from the hospital needed some help with some stuff, and so we welcomed her and the kids into our home with our kids. She was in a wheelchair for the first few weeks until her left arm was okay again, but her leg and foot have been taking some time. Even during that time it was frustrating. I would consult with her on meals to prepare, but I have 2 kids with allergies, so that needs to be taken into account, and I wasn't going to start cooking multiple meals. We would agree on something after a lot of back and forth, and then she and the kids would complain that it wasn't what they wanted, and then after the first few days she started ordering takeout after I had already started cooking, had cooked the food. Instead of just saying she didn't want what I was doing. And so then we had food going to waste. My husband confronted her on it and she said she wouldn't do it again and apologized. Then last week it all came to a head. I had decided to cook her youngest's favorite meal for their birthday, which she knew about, and had said thank you for, and then sprung takeout on us and said that she hadn't wanted her kid to have a sucky dinner for their birthday. Cue me saying that was enough and she could worry about feeding her kids while I would worry about mine. Done. No big issue. I refuse to be disrespected like that though. Then yesterday she ran out of money and she asked if I would cook for them all again, and I told her no. I told her she disrespected me enough and wasted enough of my time and our money, and she could figure something out since I would hate for her to eat shit. She raged at me. Told me I was taking our issues out on the kids and how she's meant to be resting more than she was, so how dare I put her health at risk over petty fighting, we're family blah blah. I told her she should have thought of all this before deciding she could keep ordering stuff behind my back and then insulting my cooking, and she never had this issue before they moved in. She ended up calling her parents and they transferred money to her, but apparently they think I should have been a more gracious host too, and my husband's sister is basically saying I acted like an R. I am still so shocked at the nerve, but questioning if she's right. Am I the asshole? A grown-up woman going to her parents to complain. She's tar. She's disrespectful and insulted your cooking more than once. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, you need to set up a timeline for her to leave. Not the asshole. Holy crap, talk about ungrateful, damn. I would pack her up and send her to her mom. Not the asshole. Your parents can deal with her plus offspring. Also, doesn't her husband have 2 working hands that can cook? Not the asshole. Why are you still hosting her? Tell her to go to her parents' house or something. She disrespected you more than once. Not the asshole. I was fully expecting, from the post title, to think you were tar. And reading the beginning part of your post, where they're staying with you and she's recovering from surgery, even more so. And yet, reading on, she has managed the remarkable feat of behaving so awfully that I cannot remotely side with her. Not the asshole, and yay for being a strong, assertive woman. Honestly, I love the oozing of self-respect that just flows from your post. Bravo. They think I should have been a more gracious host too, and my husband's sister is basically saying I acted like an R. Great. So shall I tell Sil you'll be expecting her at 6? Why stop at transferring money? You should transfer her ungrateful ass to the in-laws and call it a day. NTA. Not the asshole, but why not put leftovers to fridge to eat the next day? Or freezer to eat even later? You don't have to let any food go to waste. Not the asshole. She's living in your home and doesn't have the right to demand from you. Even more so after she insulted your cooking for her daughter's B-day and ordering behind your back. Not the asshole, but if she doesn't have money for takeout food, how is she going to have money for housing costs? Seems like this could become a much bigger problem. You need to set a deadline for her to get out. Not the asshole. A host can only be as gracious as their guest, and she has been blatantly disrespectful on more than one occasion. Plus, she agreed to stop ordering takeout behind your back, and then started doing it again. This is wholeheartedly unacceptable. Plus, if she is out of the wheelchair, then it is safe for her to go home and have her kids help her around the house. Just feeding 2 people can be expensive, let alone the small platoon you have in your home now. Not the asshole at all. Sounds like Sil is the asshole, but as she said, it's unfair for the kids not to eat because she kept being an R. And of course that's what people will hear when she tells the story. I want to call you the asshole for not caring about the kids, but I also know people like Sil, and I'd bet money if you had started to cook for her kids she would still have ordered takeout with her parents' money. So bottom line, not the asshole. Edit. I dropped my phone and posted before the post was done. Esh. Depending on your intentions. I mean, people are saying not the asshole, but at the end of the day there are kids going hungry out of spite, potentially. Not the asshole. She insulted you more than once. Being handicapped is no excuse for her rude behavior. Not the asshole. It blows my mind how family can say you aren't being a good host. They need to shut up and realize you aren't host her and the kids, you are going out of your way to care for them. Beggars can't be choosers. If she has such a problem with your cooking, then she can either decide to eat or not. It's not your problem. Anyone else who wants to make a negative comment about you, why in the F aren't they stepping up then to help? It sounds like she is milking the injuries to see how long she can get you to be her, and her kids' caretaker and personal chef. Not the asshole, but please don't let the kids starve. You absolutely don't need to cook for her, but the kids didn't do anything wrong in this situation. Not the asshole for cutting her out. She has options like her parents, but don't refuse to feed the kids if they end up not being able to rely on their mom for food. Not the asshole. I agree with all the people saying you should ship her to her parents, maybe they'll be more gracious. Nah, fuck her. Not the asshole. The other commenters have my thoughts covered except for one. After being at your house 6 weeks, she is not a guest and you are not a host. However, she is a mooch and you a sucker for not setting down some hard and fast rules, expectations. Not the asshole. She's been a rude guest and caused you to lose money on wasted food more than once. Not only should you nor feed her, it's time for her and her family to go home. It's just so actively hostile to order takeout when you're cooking for the family, and wildly presumptuous for her to think you're going to step in when she's mishandled her finances. Nice for her that she's got her parents to fall back on for money. Perhaps she and her children can stay with them, too. Not the asshole, 100%. I'm sorry about her accident, but the sense of entitlement and mismanagement on her part, my goodness. I'm just curious, why isn't she staying with her parents? Is it an option for her to move in there until she can go back home? I was so ready to say YTA from the title, but hell no, you're not the asshole at all. She cannot directly insult your food and cooking skills and then expect you to just keep cooking for her just because she can't afford a takeaway. Good for you for shutting down her disrespect. Not the asshole. A social faux pas on the part of your sil. Not to mention mean and unthankful. If she wants a gracious host, she should act a gracious guest. Not the asshole. But why is she still living with you after ordering takeouts the first time? Her kids don't like your food. I don't think there is anything wrong with her ordering food for them, but she should communicate. It sounds like instead of being forthright, she didn't want to say that they don't like your cooking. Until she did, rudely. Honestly, this whole thing is being handled in a very petty and immature manner. Communication is definitely an issue. Somewhat, although sometimes people just don't get along and maybe there is just a personality clash here. Maybe you just don't make good housemates, in which case, thank goodness for healing bones. Not the asshole. She's clearly an unrespectful and ungrateful guest. I pity her kids, but that's on her. No need to cook for her, and get her out of your house ASAP. You don't deserve to be disrespected in your home. Not the asshole. Show her the door and say farewell. Not the asshole. Why don't her parents show you an example of how to be a gracious host and take her off your hands? Not the asshole. How about Sil go stay with parents if they want to judge? They can either listen to her complain or just pay for her constant takeout orders. Not the asshole. If you bite the hand that feeds you, the hand is no longer going to feed you. Not the asshole. You have done enough. You got her through the hardest part, and I'm assuming she's out of the wheelchair and on crutches now. Time for her and the kids to go home. Not the asshole and kick her out. She is well enough. If you let your nieces, nephews go without to prove a point, you're absolutely an R. Cooking, especially cooking for someone on a special occasion, is so deep and personal. If they can't respect the time and effort you put into it, they don't deserve it again. Someone once just gave away the food that I had prepared for this person. They killed the chance of eating my cooking ever again. A lot of people don't realize the time and effort it takes into cooking and they think they could dismiss it easily. Have her try telling her mum that she thinks her Thanksgiving, Easter, Xmas dinner is going to suck and she'd rather order takeout. I bet that won't end well either. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It was very nice of you to attempt to work on a meal plan with her when your kiddos were the ones with restrictions. I'd have only cooked my usual meal plan, but increased for the extra mouths. You're doing Sil a favor and have 2 kids with allergies. If I had someone cooking for me, as long as it wasn't something I actively dislike, like if you made ham every night, or something I am allergic to, I would suck it up and eat it. So I don't feel like chicken, I didn't have to make it. Not the asshole. Damn, this is a fucking scandal. Not the asshole at all. Did your husband's parents ever gave their children any education or what? How can you be so impolite? I would have kicked them out of my house. Not the asshole. Don't bite, insult the hand host that feeds you. Not the asshole, but I would let the kids eat or make them PB&J. They have no control over how crappy mom is, and it would be scary to worry you might not get to eat because of her behavior. From what you shared, she sounds very dramatic, so I can imagine how hard that would be on the kids. Obviously they are not your problem, but they are also kids, and this may be the kindness they get for a while. I would do everything I could to provide stability for them while telling her to figure it out or starve. One thing has been bothering me that makes me think there is more going on here. Op decided to cook Sil's son's dinner for his B-day. That wasn't OP's place. To make the decision and inform Sil, which is how it totally comes off here when she says Sil knew about it, as opposed to Sil asked me or agreed that was the best idea. For that reason, I feel like there is more everyone sucks here going on than we are being led to believe. Your Sil should read up on how to be a good house guest. She's lucky you didn't kick her out of your house after all of that. Not the asshole. Time for her to leave. Send her to her parents' house. Not the asshole. She's doing her kids no favors by feeding them so much takeout. And no wonder she ran out of money. Takeout can be cheap, but it adds up if people get it every day. She's not a guest anymore. Clearly, she's overstayed her welcome. Not the asshole.